Attention gamers. The other night I was just doing what I can only assume most League of Legends players do before bed. Look up the best ways to ruin the game's experience for your teammates when I found a video on Assassin Ivern, and honestly I couldn't think of a faster way to make my teams want to jump out of a window than to rock this giddy anorexic tree in a lane and proclaim that you should now only be referred to as Big Bobby, Bursty Birch of the West. And while watching this video I discovered that a player who had been silver hard stuck for years switched to this troll tall ass tree pick mid lane to climb all the way to Masters, and the idea of getting free buffs farming from bushes and f***ing up unsuspecting losers who doubt the power of this lanky cupcake was enough to make my ween just about as long as these janky uncoordinated legs that I was about to skip all over the rift with. So today I will prove that researching troll picks sometimes does indeed work. That is if you look it up using Opera GX. A few years ago Chrome walked into the browser bar and immediately everyone was in love with the new kid. But people really only liked him because the alternatives were not exactly ones you'd take home to meet the parents. But in reality Chrome is needy, it demands attention and hogs all your resources, but not anymore.
Oh yeah.
Introducing Opera GX, the sexiest browser to enter the bar without all the baggage that comes with the alternatives. With features like embedded Twitch integration to get straight to your favorite streams, or a little Discord slide out so you can always be the first to comment pog on your boy's latest clips. Its sleek forced dark mode dank design gives you that sweet eye candy without any glaring strain. Just ask my optometrist.
I'm a gynecologist.
And while other options are being clingy and demanding, GX Control lets you say hey baby, even though I could look at your sexiness all day, I want some time for the boys, so I am just gonna turn down your network bandwidth, RAM and CPU for a bit so they know no browser will interrupt our gaming. That is unless we get sick of what we're playing and want to use its built-in GX Corner to browse all the best new free and cutting-edge games that we could try out. So use the link below to download Opera GX for free so you can be with the best browser in the bar. Okay young loves, for those of you watching this video in a pheromone-emitting browser, I salute you, and for the others leaving timestamp comments from Chrome wearing their V card on their sleeves, it's only a matter of time before you get a Yasuo on your team because of it. Alright, so if you want some burst to accompany you yelling Candy Crush lines at your foes all game, here's what I took: the overprotective Jizz Bullet, then cocaine enemas, reduced cooldowns, and some icing for the cupcake kicks you'll be delivering. Then 2 slots for better bitch bubbles and you'll be ready. Now the first game started off with my Candyland ass getting bush cheesed, so I tell my support she's made of metal and to act like it, knowing that Commander Cucksuck IV is in the area and he owes me after I just helped him murder a walking rock that I normally go to lunch with. So Lancing Laura goes down just before he comes in to pole dance for the kill steal on that soulless ginger support. Then a minute later we are just casually being asked to dry hump our statue due to the Jolly Ranchers I am flinging out of my fingers not really pulling their weight in the wave clear department, but thankfully Miss 200 years makes a not so 200 IQ play by Sticky handing herself into the laser zone, so I give her a sweet tart for the road leaving Star Fox Ezreal all alone. So I grow some pubes, whip some candy and then charge up a flash bubblegum blast on his ass for the double. And so back in lane starting to get my obnoxiously disproportionate legs under me when the golden wiener gets protracted onto me accompanied by a colorful caribou, so I quickly make the lane look like the before picture in a Manscaped commercial, and then I licorice leap to Leo and claim some side cash before reuniting with Steel Tits to hopefully turn this shit around, but a combination of a severe case of spontaneous knee arthritis and me having the decision making skills of a rusty doorknob keeps this walking dessert from getting delivered and turns the color off on my screen instead. Now I have yet to watch the Rel Champ spotlight, but I can only assume one of her abilities is to die, as that is all I ever see that Champ do, so needless to say her deflated pink elephant corpse is on the ground giving them the confidence of a drunk frat dude with the goal of getting this frosting, but joke is on this twinkle shit when I hit a Dua Lipa 180 in the bushes into flash hit that Laffy Taffy combo before lighting his tight manchaps on fire. This makes me old enough to adopt a pet, so I place an order for one 700-pound cupcake hoping to diabetes this broken hoe to death, but the tantrum tomato bails her out just in time. Big surprise, Miss Tin Titty is dead as shitty once again, but luckily a sack of free gold throws himself over the wall at me, so I Twizzler the twat and say something that makes no sense at all, like,
My favorite color is spring.
But the river regatta apparently was a whole weekend event, as everyone is immediately back in the swamps, but they don't realize I have an advantage as this water barely goes up to my lanky ass ankles, so I sprout some pubes to auto some nudes for kill numero uno, and then I escort the javelin jag off into combo kill territory as Leo once again proves that it's after her bedtime, so I bush bop her as well before hitting a Candy Crush rush on the blonde boy for the triple. So then I am just taking my long dramatic victory stroll back to lane when wall-hopping Henry peeks his dumb little head into the mix and says, "Sorry I am late, but do you know where all my friends went?" So I turn around, grow some grass and send him their way. Then you would think bot lane just announced that they have COVID vaccines in stock because everyone and their uncle is down there pushing each other around like total morons. So I come into bubblegum bulwark feeding Felicia so that she doesn't drop her wallet on the ground again, and then I hop into this hot action. I beanstalk a bush thinking it'll make me run faster, only to remember that I have never actually played this anorexic sugar simp in my life, so I just turn back to call 1-800-you-a-dead-bitch to come pick up their support. And I'm not sure if it's because there's candy down here, but I've never seen so many people have such a fetish for bot lane. But I'm not complaining because this frolicking fawn custom ordered the biggest cupcake on the menu and I just couldn't wait to see her face when I delivered it. Then understandably the other two are running in fear from the raging raspberry tort in hot pursuit, but jokes on them because I still had a flash bonbon bash to promptly erase that e-boy from my sight. Then I back out of the irritated tower's territory and proceed to make the lane look like a vajayjay in the 90s, knowing that shielded Sally is gonna want some Sour Patch, and despite me opting to shield my full health coworker instead of my stunned and dying malnourished body, it all still worked out. Now, full disclosure, the most effective way to play sugar-coated Andre the Giant here is to actually learn how to farm, but I gave up on improving in that department years ago, so here we are just blindly picking fights again, but this time I hide in my shrubbies and shit out a surprise bunt cake to deliver a few anal autographs. And I guess Blondie Boy was taught to finish his dessert first, which surprisingly was a strategic move here, leaving that useless piece of sheet metal and me, who seemingly had separation anxiety from my homegrown shrubs, in an even fight where both supports decide to head out together. Then I come up with this plan to just plop down in my own pubes until that static fizzle simp comes running in. It was honestly a flawless plan.
Huh?
I decide to spread some sugar mid, but the Lansing loser is off advertising free gold again, so I hit that twinkle shit with a Twizzler and then inform him plays like that make me think he does indeed need a map. But put out one fire and another one starts shooting out of a different useless teammate's anus as our mid laner gets Assassin's Creeded hard, and I flash to deliver the dessert in the form of a few overly excited jumping jack Jolly Ranchers for the kill. Then we catch that frolicking fawn in the forest with a little too much pep in her step, competing for the title of most Willy Wonka bullshit energy on the riff, so I have Grapestain Jarvan put her in a coaster and then I launch a long boy for the assist. This allows us to get our siege on mid, and when this dazzling dashy douche gets a little overzealous, he learns the hard way exactly why more CC equals more GG in this game. Meanwhile, parkouring Patrick has himself more out of position than a toilet on the set of Two Girls One Cup, so needless to say he dies. Then we march down the mid lane like some band of misfit toys led by a pink deflated elephant and some three-armed cyborg with some purple pole fetish freak and a cupcake on stilts representing the caboose as Rel sacrifices herself for the ratchet-ass Republic, which nets us a few more blonde boy bucks. And since the dumb deer saw the whole homicide, we couldn't risk letting her testify, so had to murder her as well. Come to think of it, we murdered her twice just to be sure. And at this point things were going really well as we were in their base casually ignoring objectives as I was feverishly growing my pubes everywhere to mark my territory and to make my obese walking cupcake feel more at home, while whiffing skill shots into all different directions during a certified shitfest that people in my elo typically call a teamfight, when I remembered one important detail about that Ivern video I watched.
If you check Tim Nugget's match history, the 15 to 30 minute games are pretty much all wins, but the games over 30 minutes to 40 minutes are almost all losses.
So yeah, the proverb of don't play this 100th percentile on the height charts hopping cupcake expecting to win if games go too late indeed came true as things fell apart, no thanks to my non-existent top laner who we never got to meet, and thus the first game came to a candy-crushing conclusion. But I am as intelligent as I am anorexic, so I quickly learned from my mistake and made sure not to waste any time snowballing my team early at the beginning of game 2.
150 I spent on my neck, but no, really that's nothing compared to my debt. You're looking silly cause you're in your feelings, but really old Rabby's up next. I see you hunting for scraps and you're looking at me like I'm finna be next. I tell you my trigger's a feather, so walk up, I'll gently put one in your chest. Don't fuck with Rabby boy, I'm in your crib with the blappy boy, talk to me slick and I'm popping your pappy. If happy talk back then I'm taking your Grammy, and boy oh boy I'll make her happy. I'm on and I'm popping, I'm not gonna stop when the haters come knocking, so tell them kick rock, shoot off like a rocket and fill up my pockets, make way for the boy cause I got this shit locked. They ask how I rap like I am the baby. Your girl in my DMs and she going crazy. She asked to come over, I'm telling her maybe. I'm busy, I'm chasing the check.
And I have to say being mid actually felt a lot better because I could just avoid my lane half the time while cuddling up to my jungler like he was my short but wiser older brother, confirming to stealing red buffs together and then bouncing between bushes in hopes of finding a roly-poly ollie out in the wild just begging to be cracked open like an oyster. Only then to run back mid because that fox apparently gives no fucks when it comes to her mini-map, but turns out having a 12-foot wingspan comes with a lack of coordination as I drop all my skill shots on the ground to complement a well-placed panthulk, but Sir Simsalot didn't just shit himself out from the sky to go home and watch Wheel of Fortune as I just continue running around aimlessly like a lost giraffe until I try to call a timeout in the grass, but Foxy Mama hits that flash and I think we can all agree I totally baited that like a god. Anyways, my doctor told me I would have knee problems by the time I was level 11 if I didn't exercise, and I was like, wait, aren't you my gynecologist? And he was like, just take some more walks you pussy. So here I was mindlessly doing a drive-by bot to participate in the 2021 overextended Olympics with my jungler who gets surprised by that spiky rolling rock. But then I realized that thing looks like a little ball and Fat Hank loves balls, so I call him into play, which he does with joy. Gosu loses a game of X's and O's and then we all follow Hank in his quest like a trained bloodhound locked onto the scent of Senna, who proceeds to give us a whole damn tour of the bot side river, but she honestly did a lousy job because she was moving too fast for us to hear her half the time, and she seemingly forgot to mention the fact that she would ultimately be murdered at this exact spot on the rift. Then I am just coming back from another stroll to keep my pushy pussy doctor off my back about knee health when I run into the ladies again, so I hit a chest pass so that we can all hit chest bumps on the bundle of cash, and according to Rift Alexa my jungler is enjoying the ball cuffing that comes with a mid Ivern. And I can't blame him, it's like a game of football out here. I toss a ball at someone and then everyone in the area tries to tackle her ass. It's a great team building exercise and we even went tumble tits tipping right after. But it turns out getting caught touching yourself in the woods taunted then stapled to the wall is the perfect recipe to create one sad glad, so I made sure to basketball bounce my way in to clean up the mess, and then a minute later I wanted to make sure he had the opportunity to reface that little chode ball of mud that spit in his face a minute earlier for some revenge. And speaking of revenge, my first game was ruined by Chuckles the annoying shitbag here, so I wasn't about to let this clown cuck hit me with the 2-time like some Dr. Disrespect fanboy, and then I lobbed up this somersaulting slut to be slam dunked by my team before giving Shako some more sprinkles one more time. And thus the second game ended before the fatal 30-minute mark, and Larry Birch officially has found his way onto my roster of troll picks that somehow work. So give Opera GX one more clap in the chat for sponsoring this video with their dank dark mode browser, and brush your teeth tonight. Rav out.
I would be heated if I were you two getting sunned by a text to speech. Send me the profits, I'm not into talking, please don't even text less we talking about dollars.